What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Thompson Twins. I'm very excited to start going through their material, in part because it's a group where, again, I know like one, maybe two songs from my youth. Again, born in 1980, so a lot of 80s music I heard as a single-digit kid, either because my older sister or mom or older brother were listening to it, or because I heard it on the radio, you know, when we're out and about or at friend's house and so on. So yeah, I'm really excited to go through the material and see, as I found out with a number of groups that I have a similar sort of glancing history with, just how spectacular and diverse their wider catalog is. This has happened to me with a number of groups. You know, I'm going through Aha and Eurythmics, and those are two good examples of groups that I just knew like a very little bit, and then now as I listen to their full albums, it's like, holy crap, like I had no idea they had this kind of diversity and like such interesting song composition. So I'm very much looking forward to going through the Thompson Twins material. As I mentioned, we're starting with their 1983 album, which I've been told now from a couple of you is their third studio album. For some reason I thought it was their fourth, but yeah, it's the third studio album. It's called Quick Step and Sidekick. This is 1983. We're going to listen to the second tune, which is called Lies. Obviously, it's a very straightforward concept. I often talk about single word titles being a little bit more difficult to speculate about just because there's no context. You know, it's a single word term, whether it's an adjective or a noun, whatever. The point is, even if it's a word which has a lot of meaning, like denotation and lots of connotations, without more information, without greater context, it's almost like it's hard to think about because it could go so many different ways. So lies, obviously dishonesty, deception, misrepresentation, all the sort of ramifications and consequences that can come from that, whether we're talking interpersonally, romantically, and or emotionally, which, you know, with a lot of synth pop music, I'm inclined to think that that's maybe where the lyrics will be heading. But, you know, you can lie in a lot of different contexts: professional, public, civic, and so on. And ultimately, the significance of those lies and the scope and scale of the consequences or ramifications from them will vary greatly depending on particular circumstances and, again, the level at which this is taking place. But yeah, it basically speaks to the deliberate, because if you say something to someone that turns out not to be true but you thought it was, or at least it was reasonable to think it was, then it turned out to be ignorance. It turned out to be someone who was misinformed. But to say lie means there is an intentional, deliberate goal of deceiving someone for, again, any one of a variety of purposes, whether financial gain or to cause problems in a situation, but ultimately it suggests that someone is deliberately deceiving another person. So again, knowing the song Hold Me Now, it makes me think that a song called Lies by the Thompson Twins maybe is going to be speaking about lies between people who are intimate, whether that's just emotional or also physical. So yeah, we'll have to see, but let's get it. This is Thompson Twin, Lies, from their 1983 album Quick Step and Sidekick. Oh! I think I heard this. Listen to the funky bass, by the way. Wow.
You told me you love me, so I don't understand why promises are snapped into what to make you bad.
I do think we are in that emotional, romantic. That's clever. That's clever. Oh, I definitely heard this. Definitely heard this. Wow. I'm getting like nostalgia goosebumps. Gosh,
you know what's on your mind.
Let's do it.
Died for Egypt. What a waste of time.
There's some cheeky synth work going on.
Twist your truth in half the news. Come hide it in your eyes.
hide it in your eyes. Normally eyes are easy to read, right? To hide it in your eyes. It's funny because I definitely heard this on the radio as a kid or something. But it's only like kind of familiar. It's still like fresh and new.
I think it's just too late. When the car is revving in the drive and I know the sun to wait.
I like his delivery there. Sort of like wavy and like.
Some Nick from outside gone. Collected from around the world. Love lies on and on and on and
Around the world, love lies on. They're gonna get you. They don't forget you. This is great. Brilliant. I love it. Again, I definitely heard that at some point when I was a kid, maybe in the 90s or something, maybe, you know, a little bit after it came out, but at some point in my youth, I definitely heard that because when it started, the synth work, it was like, wait, this feels a little familiar. When that chorus came in, it's like, wait, no, definitely, I've heard this. But again, like the verses, they felt like, I didn't remember those nearly as much, so it still felt sort of new. But yeah, bottom line, fantastic. I do think he is talking about the sort of the realm of interpersonal like connections, emotional, physical, romantic, and the way that those are often plagued with lies. Again, seemingly around the world, it seemed to be a suggestion that this is part and parcel to human relations, and that, you know, whether you're talking Japan, the United States, Europe, or elsewhere, there are dishonesties, there are misrepresentations, and there are deceptions which take place among lovers and among people who otherwise have very strong emotions for each other, or at least did at one time, which again, none of these things are snapshots, right? They're all taking place over time and space, and so ultimately the way that someone feels in one moment may not be the same as the way they feel in another. And I feel like a lot of really good songs do get at that, right? That like, oh, your words which used to mean so much, now they're just empty, now they have no value. So yeah, it felt like another one of those songs that it gets at the nature of human romance, love, and intimacy, and ultimately the deception that unfortunately seems to characterize a good deal of that for many, many people throughout history. But yeah, bottom line, a really cool tune. Looking forward to this deep dive. There are multiple more albums in the folder that has been made available to me. Once again, shout out to one of the major champions of the channel, Han Solo. So yeah, shout out to Thompson Twins. Looking forward to this deep dive. Let me know what you think of this tune. I will see you next time. Peace.